Hey guys, so this is the new limited character that will be featured in 3.7 Chinese version of Reverse 999 Rhiannon. And this is the preliminary analysis based on the kit that has been revealed. So first of all, her insight, I break it down into I0 and I3 and later I explain I1 and I2. But it's not that major, it's just that there are so many buffs here that I need to explain and I cannot squeeze everything into one page, so I break it into two. Anyway, I0, when familiar connections energy reaches a certain number, we do not know how much that number is, Rhiannon can cast and enter Hypersense before using her incantations. So Hypersense, when in this status, gain an extra round of action, where the enemies cannot act. Before the incantation comes into effect in this extra round, a wormy blackberry summon will enter the incantation sequence and do an attack. So I'll explain that in the next slide. But here is that what can we make of this Hypersense? It is an extra round where the enemy will not act. So you can imagine it's something like Main's Bulletin when we deplete the enemy's bar and they enter Witness round. So this extra round should be very similar to Witness round, except that it doesn't take up the number of rounds. So if this is round 3, then you trigger this extra round, then I think after that it should be round 4 instead of round 5. While for Main's Bulletin Witness round, it is actually counted as a round. Then the second buff, Cooperating Sync, when consume funnel energy into familiar connection and gain Meeting of Minds. So Cooperating Sync, she will gain, I believe, 1 stack of it at the start of the round. And based on her Insight 3, if she doesn't consume it, it will automatically be consumed at the end of the round and it will increase her Moxie. Again, I assume this is 1 Moxie. And when consumed, she also gained another buff called Meetings of Mind, which I will explain in a moment. Another thing here is that Rhiannon is an always effective character. So what is always effective character? She is counted as a Lingering Glow, Blood Tie, Dynamo, Impromptu, and Instrument character. So this doesn't mean that she have the mechanics related to these archetype. But what happened is that she is counted as one. So if you're using like Paper Heron, if you have 3 impromptu units, then her array will start at level 3. So Rhiannon is counted as an impromptu character, so she can fulfill that requirement. But she definitely will not be generating inspiration for impromptu. Okay, so do keep that in mind. For her Insight 3, when entering battle, increase self-moxie and funnel energy into familiar connection. So here I'm kind of like assuming maybe the energy required for familiar connection maybe 3 or 4. So you need like 3 or 4 rounds consuming Cooperating Sync, then you will trigger the extra round. So I do think that the rotation probably is 3 to 4 rounds. For her Insight 1, at the start of the round, gain Meeting of Minds. And Insight 2, when entering battle, increase attack. So Meeting of Minds is a force field. Increase the afflator's advantage multiplier of allies. So in another word, it boosts up their damage. Okay, but the character has to be dealing afflator's advantage. So let's say if you are in a Dynamo team, then you have Corvus doing intelligence, so you bring the team to fight against a spirit enemy, but Charon will not gain this advantage because Charon is spirit. So only whoever that does bonus afflators, then their multiplier is increased. Wormy Blackberry Summon is a mass mental damage to all enemies, and based on the number of Meeting of Mind, further increase the damage. This attack guarantee afflator's advantage. And for some reason, I do expect this attack to be hitting pretty hard. Okay, because I think she's more like a sub DPS that works in many of these archetype. So she should be at least doing quite significant damage herself. Next, skill 1, Gulping Spell. Mental damage to all enemies. Before attacking, consume Cooperating Sing to increase self-attack. So here I do believe if you consume this, then she won't get the extra Moxie. But here if you are using S1, then you get 1 Moxie because of using S1. After evolving is after you use her ultimate, then the skill will evolve. This incantation also decreases critical defense of all enemies after attacking. Based on the number of meeting of mind, further decrease critical defense. For skill 2, Silent Array, all allies gain Song of the Bird. So Song of the Bird increase both incantation and ultimate might. And it will also consume Cooperating Sing to increase self-max HP. After evolving, also increase damage bonus of all allies, and based on the number of meeting of minds, further increase damage bonus. For her ultimate, Sing the Carefree Song is a mass buff. All other ally gain Dust Brute Eagle. All self-incantation are evolved for some rounds and will not consume AP. So here it says some rounds. I think it should at least be like maybe 2 rounds or 3 rounds. Okay. Anyway, Dust Brute Eagle increase attack or max HP based on Rhiannon's attack or max HP. So overall, max HP will be beneficial for Blood Tie, but in general, it will be quite good for sustain. So some of the fights now, we have some problem tanking, even though with all the shield maxed out, with now increasing the max HP for the entire party, then it will improve sustain. Attack up is also beneficial for Paper Heron, and attack up also help Keeperina, Enigma, and Marsha to increase the upper limit of the shield value, or for Enigma case is Bastion. For the archetype, first of all, okay, just want to repeat this again. She doesn't have any archetype mechanics, but she is considered as one. So she help meets the requirement where some of these archetypes say you need 3 of this unit and then something will happen. So she can fulfill that, okay? For Dynamo, a lot of Dynamo main mechanic is actually related to the pulsing field, charging the pulsing field. And now with Enigma come in, it only need 1 round to charge the pulsing field. And if you have been watching the video related to Lucy in the new Dynamo team, Auric have a problem because his rotation is better at 4 rotation, but now with Enigma it becomes 3 rotation. Okay, so in this case, if you substitute Sharon with Rhiannon, then you will go back to 4-round rotation and it will help Auric to have a better rotation. Rhiannon increasing the multiplier for bonus afflatus is also very useful for Lucy because she always do bonus afflatus, right? But anyway, one thing, if the pulsing field slowed down, but do remember, if every 4 rounds, one of the round is a free round, does it really matter that your pulsing field is 1 turn slower? Because you have 1 free round to do as much damage as you can. So you still can plan your rotation in 4 rounds, but in reality, in terms of turn count, in terms of the number of rounds that pass, it's only 3. So I do believe her to be useful in that sense, and that is how she compensates by not actually contributing to the archetype mechanics, but giving them the free round as a compensation. Her giving incantation and ultimate might both is also very beneficial for Dynamo because Dynamo units can tap in both incantation and alt might. As for Lingering Glow, I don't see any part of a kit that is specifically useful for Lingering Glow. I mean, generally, yes. But she is not providing any form of burn in order to increase Lingering Glow stack. Even if she counted at the Lingering Glow, but if she's not contributing to Lingering Glow, then Beryl will be doing lesser damage. And yeah, overall, it may not be the best. But, you know, who do you want to replace? Do you want to replace Lawrence? I don't think so. Lawrence, we don't even have her in GL right now. So if this character can replace Lawrence, nobody will pull for Lawrence. So it doesn't make sense that she is there to replace Lawrence. Then how about Isolde? Isolde as well has too much buff that is based on Lingering Glow to try to push the limit higher, which Rhiannon doesn't do that. So I don't think she's really for Lingering Glow team. So it's mostly maybe for new players. You have some of this unit but not the entire unit. You can use her as a substitute until you get the right unit. Okay? So Lingering Glow, I don't really think she belongs there. Similarly, Impromptu, also I don't see her kit tailored very much to Impromptu. She definitely doesn't generate inspiration. But if Mercuria can work, this means that if Rhiannon's buff and debuff is really potent, then possibly you can use her as well in the Impromptu team. She provides attack up from her ultimate, and that is also beneficial to a certain extent because Paper Heron provides a buff to everyone and increases their attack by 15% of Beryll's own attack. So if now you have Rhiannon, then Paper Heron's attack is going to be higher, and then everyone will also have higher attack as well. As for Blood Tie, yes, definitely look promising because she can increase max HP, and that should benefit Nautica a lot. So in that case, she's probably replacing Sentinel. At least that's what I think. Okay. For the last archetype, which is a new archetype, I haven't read about it, so I'm going to explain it in a separate video. But Instrument. So I think she should be able to work for that archetype. Alright, so as for her rotation, this is just an assumption. We do not know the exact number. And here I'm consuming. If you consume Cooperating Sing at the end of the round, you will get 1 Moxie. Okay, so if that case, she needs 4 Moxie. So round 1, if you use her ultimate, Cooperating Sing will be consumed because you didn't use S1 or S2. Then that will give you 1 Moxie. So now you have 1 Moxie. In round 2, you use S1 and S2. Now both S1 and S2 doesn't use up AP. So definitely use all of them. So using S1 and S2 both is 2 Moxie. So now you have 3. In round 3, use it again. Then you have 5. But again, this can change if the ultimate, the evolve round is shorter. Then you only can use both S1 and S2, by round 2. You have to use S1 and S2 if you want to get the maximum of the buff and debuff. So here the rotation might change into like out, then use S1, which will consume the Cooperating Sync. Then in round 2, you use S2 and then S1. So S2 will also consume Cooperating Sync. So both of them now will inflict the better buffs and debuffs on the enemy and the ally. And also, depending, like now you do that, Alt S1, then S2, S1. How many Moxie do you have? 1, 2, 3. Then maybe in round 3, you don't do anything. Now you will consume Cooperating Sing in order to get 1 more Moxie. Do note that if you use Alt and then S1, the S1 actually should count for AP because you have selected it and it is now in the AP area. So even though now it becomes free of AP, but you already have used up the AP anyway. Yeah, so this one still very much we have to look at the actual numbers. For Hypersense, in this rotation, just use it whenever it's available. So yeah, so I think that's all about Rhiannon's kit. And thank you very much for watching and have a good day.